Welcome, fair people of YouTube. Today I bring you the first episode of Meta with Crimson Fencers, a new weekly series that will probably be coming out on Monday, in which I will be describing the meta decks both for ladder and tournament play with my fellow teammates from the team Crimson Fencers. Today, on this very first episode, joining me will be the one and only Phoenix90, an ex-member of the roster of our team Crimson Fencers, and now engaged in management, the man.
Hi everyone, be glad to be here.
Alright Phoenix, so what deck list have you prepared for us today?
I have a very interesting deck list of an hybrid event with a lot of tech in it.
So guys, as you might notice, in meta right now, whenever you see Heaven on ladder or in tournament, it's mostly the mainly focused Seraph with not much hybrid to it. It's mainly pure Seraph, or the another end of the spectrum with the Sunshine Heaven, with Satan and Guardian Sun. So Phoenix, why hybrid Heaven?
Well, usually when you see what deck you found in the ladder, you found a lot of aggro deck. Seraph and Sunshine are good against them, but they are not like really unwinnable matchup. There is a lot of burst in this meta, so you don't just need ward to win a game. You need also heal, and in some matchup an hybrid deck like this one can give you the advantage on board.
Alright, so we actually see in this deck list, you guys can see it on the screen of course, we have tons of healing. We have basically cards that are not played in Seraph in this list are only the heal cards for now, are Monastic Holy Water, which gives you additional cycle and 2 health per card, and also Rabbit Healer. Healing Angel is sometimes there, but Radiance Angel is a staple in every single deck in Heaven right now. That's why Radiance Angel 3 off and rest of the cards 2 off, I assume. Yeah, so tell me more about this Elena Prayer, because you can call it a tech basically. It's heavily teched Seraph, and Statute Seraph deck, which happens to be hybrid with Elena, right? You can call hybrid this way. A very heavily teched deck.
Yeah, pretty much this deck can be even better than it is now if you want to bring for a tournament and bringing some other tech in it, but it pretty much destroy any aggro deck. For some matchup it have something like 90, even 95% on win ratio.
Yeah, so probably most of the dangerous matchups right now from the aggro lineups is the aggro sword, right?
Yeah, but not really. It's still an aggro deck that pretty much swarm the board, and don't have really a OTK turn. It can't deal 20 damage in one turn, and can't win before turn 9 with so many heal. So until you don't draw Seraph, you're gonna win this matchup.
Alright, I see. And what about Aggro Blood?
That is one of the best matchup this deck have.
Yeah, because Aggro Blood is mainly based on the direct damage with cards like Venya, Razor Claw, or Demonic Strike, and this deck specializes in healing, which is the direct counter to direct damage.
This deck is pretty much the same as the Darkness Evolve that I used to play, and when I tested this deck against Aggro Blood, that is not changed at all from Darkness Evolve, it have nearly 100% win ratio. So pretty much is the same. So in the worst scenario, it have 95
Right.
against that bot.
So speaking of Darkness Evolved, the only cards that are here from the Rise of Bahamut are Tribunal of God and Evil and Ancient Lion Spirit, right? Am I missing something? I don't think so. Yeah,
No,
it's pretty much that.
there are only 3 new cards from the new expansion.
Yeah, so what happened that the deck came back in meta?
Well, pretty much the last nerf to the top tier deck changed a little bit them, and right now there is a lot more aggro decks, and this deck is a lot better against them.
Yeah, for those who don't know the recent changes, the Goblin Mage got nerfed, and that heavily hit the Roach Forest deck, the OTK ones, because when they play a lot of 1-drops, they need those 1-drops, and you can get free with playing just 1-2-drop, that is the Roach, but if you have to suddenly cut all your 1-drops for consistency, the deck slows down a ton. So with this nerf, the deck is pretty much gone. People who play Roach are mainly playing it with Silverbolt or with Homecoming now, and that means the aggro decks are back, because with the fall of Roach, the aggro decks rise. It was really bad matchup for aggro decks. Alright,
Yeah.
so Phoenix, as we know, the deck is pretty heavily tagged. Let's start with the one tag that I really like because of the art of the minion it summons, the Holy Sentinel. What's your reasons behind it?
Holy Sentinel pretty much destroy any aggro deck. Usually when you play aggro deck against an aggro deck with Heaven, he will try to swarm the board as much as possible until turn 6 for Themis, but you take advantage with this card, because if you have a full board, you will pretty much have a 2 cost for 5 ward for free.
Yeah, and people don't expect that. The card is pretty uncommon.
Yeah, it's not common at all. It was played more on Darkness Evolved, but right now it's not played very much.
Alright, and maybe the card has some more synergy with core of the deck, so Elena and Seraph?
Yeah, of course, this is not just a card for aggro, but there is a reason why this card is in a hybrid deck. You can combine it with Elena, so you don't need to proc their turn when you play it, and so you will have the next turn or some turn after you play it all the mana to play all the heal you can, and instead of just a 4-5 ward, you will have a very huge ward on your board. Also, a very sick play to do with this card is to play in a way that it will proc on turn 8, so you will have a 4-5 ward when you want to play Seraph. So you will have pretty much a more safe play on turn 8, and this card is very good because Seraph pretty much lose many games because can't play on turn 8 is Seraph.
Yeah, due to all the aggression, you cannot just pass the turn playing Amulet that does anything, does nothing. Yeah, so yeah, and the additional plus is that the Holy Sentinel is a fox. So yeah, you are on my channel, so the foxes are sacred. And the card that everyone is probably waiting for, the Altered Fate. Let's start there.
Well, probably when you see this card, you say, what the fuck? Why this card is in this deck? But if you think about what is needed on a Seraph deck, what you want for this deck, Altered Fate is pretty much a must-have. Many times you found you are in a position where you want some card, like you want a clear, you want a heal to end the game, you want Elana, or you want Seraph, or you want a cooldown reduction. Pretty much every game you will have a turn where you are in some of this position. And Alter Fate allow you to change your hand and found the card that you really need on that turn.
Yeah, and speaking of the countdown reduction, it also allows you to play only 5 countdown reduction cards, opposite to the Seraph that needs at least 8, because cannot draw for them that consistently without Alter Fate.
Yeah, usually I play with this deck on turn 8 Seraph, and I found out that on turn 9 I don't have all the countdown reduction, but I have still Altered Fate, and I found all the countdown reduction I need with it. This also allowed, like you said, to play only 5 countdown reduction. Maybe it would be better to have 6 with Altered Fate to be more consistent, but this is in the end a hybrid deck. It's not just a pure Seraph, so I can win even without Seraph.
The deck is pretty perfect for ladder already. Well, let's not call it perfect, because occasionally D-Shift will appear and that's a really bad matchup. And speaking of D-Shift, sometimes you want to bring this deck to a tournament, so what do you do then? Like, what are your bad matchups and how do you tech against them, Phoenix?
Well, the most annoying matchup is, like you said, is D-Shift. Because this deck is not really known, is not played at all pretty much. Even a not very experienced D-Shift player can struggle against it, but you will not find that kind of player on a tournament.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, mainly on a tournament with the new format, 3 deck, 1 ban. If you plan to ban always Rune, and with this deck you should, probably you want to deck more against aggro decks. So things like bringing 3 Holy Sentinel is a very good idea. Maybe deck some more ward. For the ward, I think the best one is Bellringer, because one of the main problem of this deck is draw. Every Seraph deck can break because they don't draw Seraph, they don't draw countdown reduction, so as many draw as possible is a good idea. Another things you can change is if you aren't scary of Shadow, is a good idea to cut completely Priest of the Croucher and instead bringing Sledgehammer. Is a better Evo follower, and it costs less.
Yeah, so actually, if you are going first, you can play on 5 versus a full board of Shadow. You can play Holy Sentinel and a Sledgehammer Exorcist to get 4/5 worth and remove the 2 biggest threats.
Yeah, usually the best 5 play possible for an event deck is exactly that. Holy Sentinel, or maybe Arya if there isn't many board, and the Sledgehammer.
Alright, and what about some other control decks? How this deck does against them?
Well, the mirror can be a little problematic, So maybe you want to bring 2 Odin instead of just 1. But anyway, if you bring 2 Odin, you will have an advantage because of Altered Fate. You just Altered Fate to have Seraph on turn 8 or Odin if you start first or second. You know, who start first want to play Seraph first.
Yeah, definitely.
The other control deck usually aren't a threat at all. Pretty much. This deck is made to beat control and hybrid deck and have a problem with burst, very heavy burst deck that cannot KO you, like Disco Dragon or D-Shift, pretty much.
And what about the Roach? Because the Roach is kind of dead, but there still exists some Roaches with Silver Bolt, and some people even play the classic combo Roach. Is the deck already suited against them, or do you need some additional taking?
Well, one possible tech other tech play Ringer, like I said before, is to play Cleric Lancer as a 5-drop, maybe 2 off. It is very good against aggro. The only problem of that card is Dance of Death, but still is a 5 mana for 5 mana, and is pretty much a very good card to defend if you want to defend, and also if you already have an Elana Sprayer on board, you pretty much have a very, very huge ward to pass. Even a turn 9 sword with, oh damn it, Albert, yeah, can't pass it.
Alright, and probably the last thing we need to mention, because we cannot leave our viewers without this knowledge, is sometimes you will land against this D-Shift matchup, right? You just cannot prevent it. Either you met it on ladder or you had to ban, for example, I don't know, the deck you completely never seen and you are too scared to play against it, right? So what do you do against D-Shift? What are the ways?
There are, because this isn't just a Seraph deck, it's an hybrid deck, there are many ways to win that matchup, more than just Seraph. A Seraph usually have a very, very bad win ratio against the Shift, but this deck is a lot better. Is probably around 50 at the moment, because no one knows about it. Probably the real against an experienced player is 30% off. Anyway, you need to do, you can do pretty much 2 things: swarm the board or just play as a Seraph deck. If you swarm the board, you just play Elana. You need Elana on turn 3, so you need to think also to Altered Fate just turn 2 to search for Elana's player turn 3. And after that you need to play all area, all amulet, and bring all the EL in the same turn, and hope it can clear your board. After that is pretty much a GG.
Yeah, you basically win after first turn your board sticks to the board.
Yeah, you need something on the board. But there are also another option. When you see that probably your opponent don't have lethal before you can proc Seraph, and you already played the amulets, when they proc and it happened to me, you can just miss your surfboard. So you don't give any possibility to the opponent to play target spell, and just go for the Seraph win.
Yeah, because that's actually a strategy that appeared some time ago against D-Shift, and it often is very hardly used in D-Shift mirrors, that you deny your opponent any targets for spells, so he's unable to cast Wind Blast, Fury Embrace, kaleidoscopic glow. People usually end up kaleidoscopic glowing their own golems or Levi's, just for sake of casting the card, and you can either overdraw, you can get stuck with double Fury Embrace and triple Wind Blast in your hand. I mean, probably not many people play that many of this single target removal, but they used to, that's just an example. And yeah, if you deny your opponent the targets, you also deny the spell boost, which in Seraph situation can mean that your opponent cannot play their D-Shift combo and KO you before turn 9 or even 10.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty much the meta of D-Shift some time ago, where pretty much when you played the mirror, who was the first to play any things that stick on board probably will lose the game, because it will give a target to the opponent, and pretty much you can do the same strategy. Just play on target things and just play Seraph. Turn 9 OTK your opponent.
Yeah, and with that said, I think the video is coming to an end. It's been Phoenix90, thank you very much for being here.
Glad to be here.
And my name is Roxos. If you have any other questions regarding the series, the channel, or basically anything, or direct question to Phoenix maybe, you can leave them in the comment. I will definitely pass them to them. You can also check out our team Discord channel, which will be left in the description. And with that said, peace out, guys.
Bye bye.